Tying knots and quality of knots is probably one of the most essential part of the surgical procedure, which adds to saving time, adds to less morbidity, less post-op bleeding, and more secure knot, so the pedicle will not get loosen up after the procedure. Basically, you have a so-called a flat knot, which is, I'm going to go very slow here, flat knot, which is also called a safe knot. It's just like this. But a knot which is like this, it's not considered to be safe because it's going to be, the knot security is bad, and as soon as you let it go, it's going to slip and loosen up. So for us to be able to make fast and secure knot, the first principle in surgery, in my opinion, is that when a surgeon drives his or her needle holder through the tissue, the needle holder should never be dropped on the field with the needle and should always be kept in your hand while you're tying the knot. So this is your needle holder. And what you do, once the needle holder is driven through, then the essential part of it is that you will be able to tie the knot with one hand. The right-hand people will be able to tie most of the time with their left hands, and the left-handed people will be able to do their hand tying mostly with the right hands. And there are basically two kinds of one-hand knot tying, which is very essential, very easy to learn, very fast and very adequate and very efficient. One is called a supination knot, or three fingers tying knot, which the hand is in the position of supination like this, and the end of your suture, which is held, is always the tip of it held between your thumb and your index finger, and the end of your suture toward your needle driver comes out of your little fingers, your pinky. And then this suture line comes in between the middle finger and the thumb, not thumb, and the index finger, and then your middle finger comes over and picks this up, and it becomes a knot. Okay, this is called supination. We're going to go very slow again. Supination knot is the one that it's a hand is in the position of supination, that the end of your suture is held by your thumb and your index finger, and then the other side of the suture would goes toward the needle holder, it comes out of your little finger, and then this line crosses between the middle finger and the index finger, and the middle finger is bended and it's held, and that's a knot. Okay. The fact is, when you have your needle holder still in your hand, sometimes it's too long, so it makes it very cumbersome to tie a knot at the end of it when the suture is very long. So what you need to do, you can always shorten this up by holding the suture with your needle holder here. See, it's all shortened. And then you can do your three-finger knot or your skull supination knot. Okay. Now the other knot that it is also very efficient, very easy to do, is called pronation knot. On pronation knot, your hand is in the pronation position, and the end of your suture line is held between the thumb and the middle finger, and the end of your suture comes off your index finger, almost opposite to the supination knot. Once you do this, then you create a space. The more space that you create between your holding the end of the knot and your index finger, the easier it is to throw your knot. So this line comes in between the middle finger and thumb, which holds the end of the suture, and your index finger like this, and then your index finger is going to turn around and get this knot and make a knot, which is always a flat knot. Look, this is always a flat knot. We're going to go very slow again. So we're going to make this holding with the thumb and the index finger, and also the thumb and the middle finger, sorry, and then the end of the suture comes off the index finger, and then this line crosses here, and then very slowly I'm going to try, and then it just brings this and it makes a knot for you. Okay, then here's what is very important, that what do we do to make sure that these knots that is tied by one hand, all flat and safe knots. There are two rules you have to follow here. I'm going to let this needle holder go and just hold this like you have a free line on both sides, and you want to tie a knot. For you to make sure that this becomes a flat knot or a secure knot, if you do a pronation knot, the pronation knot should cross over this line that it goes to your needle. See, cross over. Once it crosses over, then you make your knot. It's always a flat knot, look. So what happens, and then on the supination knot, it's the opposite. If you want to tie a supination knot, you grab this from under so it crosses under this line that it goes to the needle. And then your hand is, look, your hand is turned around as a supination knot. And then when you tie this, it becomes a flat knot. So let's see, we have our needle holder here, okay? Back. We have our needle holder, and it's always driven. Now, very soon it becomes a reflex that you don't even have to think about it. As soon as you drive your needle, if you want to do a supination knot, you just reach under this line and grab this. Under this line and grab this. And then throw a knot, and it's a flat knot. Okay, in the meantime, if you decided that, no, I want to put a pronation knot, you reach over and grab this, and then throw a knot, and it becomes a safe knot or a flat knot. Look what happens if you don't cross this. If you don't cross this. We don't cross this, and we want to put a pronation knot. This becomes a total unsafe knot. Okay, so and if you do this supination knot, will happen the same thing. Let me do a supination knot with the right hand. See, without crossing it, when you do this, it's a very unsecure, unflat knot. So then the principle is that for you to make sure that your knot is secure and flat, you must cross the line before you put your knot in. You must cross. If you want to put a supination knot, as we said, you cross under the end that you want to throw a knot with it, or if you want to do a pronation knot, it should be cross over. Okay. Also, what you can do, if you didn't cross it beforehand, and if you want to throw a supination knot, what you need to do to cross your hands afterward. See, if you cross your hands afterward, then it becomes flat. But if you don't cross it, it's not a flat knot. Okay. Now here what it is, which I see most of you, since we're using Vicryl, and Vicryl doesn't have good knot security, so you put the other knot, which is called surgical knot or secure knot, which is a double loop knot, like this. You go 1, and you go 2, and then you pull it. So I observe most of you in the operating room that you, since we're using Vicryl, you use this. You get this, and you go twice, like this. So I'm going to show you a way which you're going to master it in no time to do this double flat secure surgical knot in one stage with one hand. And it's very easy. If you just pay attention and practice a little bit, you're going to master it, and it'll become a reflex. So you don't even have to think about it. So again, 2 principles we need to watch here to do a surgical knot in one stage. This is going to save you time. It's going to be fast, but always you can have a needle at the other end of your suture. It has to be free on both ends. Since we're using a lot of controlled release, as soon as you drive your needle through your tissue, you just pull your needle, or somebody, if it's not a self-release, somebody cuts your needle, and then you try to throw this safe surgical knot. And here are the principles that we need to watch for. Okay, here the suture, let me get this needle holder back again. So the needle holder comes up here, and you pull the needle off, then you grab both sides of these. Okay, the first thing you need to do to cross them. Okay, cross them, you hold on one side the pronation technique, like we discussed before, and on the other side you hold the supination technique. See, on this side I'm holding the pronation, and I cross it above. The principle was that all pronation knots, if you want it to be flat and secure, needs to cross over. And all supination knot to be flat and secure need to cross under. See, this is under. So what you need to do is, watch this, and I'm going to go very slow. You want to put pronation on this side, and you want to put supination on this side at the same time. And here's your double knot at one stage. Okay, let's go do this again, very, very slow. So you hold on to your suture. The principle is that you want to make sure that your supination knot side crosses under, and the pronation side crosses over. So and then once you do this, you just do both at the same time. See, it crosses. You put the supination or pronation, either one, first, or you put simultaneously both of them at the same time, and that's your double flat surgical knot. Okay, you can do this with the opposite direction. So I want to do a pronation on this side and supination on this side. See, I switched the crossing. So the pronation came again on the top, and the supination came on the bottom. So what I did here, look, I go here, and I do a supination here, and I do a pronation here. So you can do it with either hand. Let's try this again, very slow. I'll do it with a pronation with the right hand and supination with the left hand. Here, I'm going to go do this. See, I'm putting a pronation on this side. I'm putting a supination on this side. And that's your flat knot. So it's very simple. If you follow this direction and do some practicing, you're going to save time. You're going to do very fast double knot, and then it's going to save you time during surgery, and your knot's going to be very secure. Also, one other thing that it might be easy for you to do, which you can do an instrument tie without use of an instrument for you to save suture. If you're in an area that the suture is very scarce and very expensive, not available, like if you're in Afghanistan, you want to use as little suture as possible. So you pull your needle all the way up here, And then what you do, you get your finger, 3-finger, loop here, and then pick the other side of the suture. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll try it again. For you to do, just like you do an instrument Tai Chi, you bend your thumb, index, and middle, and you just loop around it and pick the other side of the suture. Pick this side right here. Right here, and there is your knot. And you have to make sure that you cross it. And then see, it makes it easier if you tie the first one, so the suture will not skip from us. Look what you do. You take this, you turn around, and you pick this, and you pull it. And that way you're going to save a lot of sutures. So these are some of the principle of hand tying. Since we're using different kind of sutures, and every suture has a different knot security. For instance, nylon and Prolene has the lowest knot security, and wire and silk has the highest security. Then you want to make sure that you tie your knot according to the degree of the specific suture knot security to make sure that your tying is safe.